News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Okay, Trump had a press conference today, and boy, it covered a lot of stuff, and it was fantastic, wasn't it? I didn't watch it live. I didn't start breaking it down until after my Betty Bye wake-up time or whatever. And it was something else, man. It was wild. It was fun. It's classic Trump. Wild and fun. And, well, let's play some highlights from it. And let's see. Here we got, this is about Gaza. I love this.
I think they heard him loud.
I should say, by the way, this is about the hostages from October 7th from Hamas, the terrorists, which are funded by Iran, of course.
I think they heard him loud and clear. That'll get done by the inaugural.
But when you say all hell will be paid, all hell must be paid.
By the way, this is Stephen Witkoff, who is a Trump friend who is going to be the ambassador to Israel, and he's speaking, and then Trump's standing by. He'll jump in.
All hell must be paid if they don't release the hostages.
Well, do I have to define it for you?
Look, all hell will break out. If those hostages aren't back, I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is.
I love it. I like how he said, do you really need me to spell that out for you or to describe what that is, all hell? Do you really, in other words, are you that stupid? This is obvious. All hell will break loose means all hell will break loose. What does that mean? You will deal with the power and the might of the United States, and it will happen. It's not maybe going to happen, or it's not, or whatever. All hell will be unleashed on you. I love that. Do you have any idea? It puts tingles up my spine or whatever in a good way, because you will be freaking plastered. You will be decimated. And what this reads as to me is Israel and the United States will send in commandos and will hit you with our firepower, and we will take you SOBs out. What does that mean? I mean, if we have to do lightning raids with our commandos and their commandos, we're going to come in. We're going to kill you. We're going to kill all you. And we're going to get those hostages free. You know why I felt so powerful about this, so enamored, and I still sit here right now? Because you know how many of these Jewish and Israeli, I should say, these Israeli and American, many of them are American and Israelis, dual citizenship, or they're just Israeli, doesn't matter. They have been waiting for what? I don't even know now. Is it a year and a half? I don't know what the amount of time is anymore. October 7th. They've been waiting, and they have been sitting there. They're being sexually tortured. They're being starved. They're being abused. They're being tortured. They're being malnourished. They're being all sorts of horrifying things. They're being used as propaganda. So you know what? This never should have been this way. If our current president had a pair of what's down there, none of this crap would be going on. He doesn't. When you see this guy come out today, Donald Trump, and you see him speak like this, you go, oh my gosh, this is what it means to have your what's back. Your cojones back, your balls back. I'll just say it. This is what it means to have our balls back. This has been such an embarrassment for 4 years. This fool, this doddering fool, this incompetent old fool, has been such a wimp and a wussy on stage. We are the most powerful country in the world. What is this crap doing this long? What is this? And I read today that Biden's negotiating to free some hostages out of Afghanistan with the Taliban. We shouldn't be negotiating with any of those people. Trump showed him a picture of his house. He said, see that? What is that? That's your house? Yeah. You're going to have this back to me by then, or your house is going to be gone. And what happened? We got what we wanted. Biden, we're going to freaking give some, if I'm not mistaken, I could be off on this, but like some 9/11, one of the top 9/11 guys or something, we're going to give to them. Like a lieutenant of Osama bin Laden. What is this crap? What are we doing for American hostages? Wait, dude, and the most disgusting thing of all time is that the Bagram Air Force Base, that he abandoned that $1 billion state-of-the-art base. That is right next door to China. That is, I think, within an hour, 2 or 3, or a couple of hours of flight, and you're in China. That was our way into terrorism, to kill terrorists throughout the Middle East when they start to be known and arise. And that was our way to be a serious threat to China. And the rare earth minerals of that country, what a disgrace. Now, let me also go into more stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to just go off on that. Here's more. Will you use military? Are you willing to use military, Mr. Trump, to take Greenland and to take Canada and to take the Panama Canal?
Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold a vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two.
You know what? Good. Because Joe Biden says, well, a minor incursion when he talks about Ukraine with Putin, and then Putin goes in and does a massive incursion. And Trump says, are you taking military out? No, we're not taking it off the table. He is so messing with the world right now, and I love it. I really do. He is so playing a game with these people, and he's also serious too. By the way, I'm seeing this report. This is on my Twitter feed. You can share it if you want. The Milky Way of America. We might be renaming the Milky Way of America. Also, as you also know too, by the way, this is great. The Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America, because Mexico is not stopping the illegals. They're not doing anywhere near what he wants to do, and therefore Gulf of America. I love this guy. He loves this country. You don't have to like him. You can hate him. I don't care. He loves this country. He literally gets so mad about our country being dumped on, by our country being second, third, fourth best because Joe Biden's a wimp and he thinks that we should be bowing and apologizing to everybody and giving them everything. Gulf of America.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate.
I love this guy. I absolutely love this guy. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. What are your thoughts on Trump threatening to take Greenland and the Panama Canal and maybe Canada? How do you feel about the Gulf of Mexico becoming the Gulf of America? And what do you think Trump's doing here? Is he serious or is he negotiating? I do think he's negotiating, but I also think there's some sincerity in there. And what he does, these people, their heads blow up. They cannot understand, can't take this. They can't understand it. They think he's a madman. And so they decide to negotiate and get in there and give him what he wants. At least they give enough chunk up that he's satisfied with that. He's negotiating. And he's also very serious about Greenland. He is. And I want to go into some detail about why Greenland is so important to us. Also, how do you feel about Trump saying all hell will break loose if the October 7th Hamas hostages aren't released by the time he's in office? And what do you think he'll do if that doesn't happen? So what are your thoughts on Trump threatening to take Greenland and threatening also to take the Panama Canal and maybe Canada? How do you feel about the Gulf of Mexico becoming the Gulf of America? And what do you think Trump's doing here? Is he serious or is he negotiating? 800-288-WBAP is our number. That's 800-288-9227. Lines wide open. I'm going to go into some detail a little bit on, I'm going to tell you why Greenland is so important. Give you a little history in there too, a quick tiny little history lesson on that. And I'm not from me, but from people I've read up on today. And then also on the Panama Canal, why it is so crucial, why we should exert our influence in the Panama Canal and should work to exert at least enough influence to not let the Chinese take it over. All that's coming up next. It's Chris Crock, lines wide open. Chime in right now. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Also, how much would it cost to buy Greenland? I actually have some price estimates. I'm being serious. That's next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world. I'm talking about protecting the free world. You look at, you don't even need binoculars. You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen.
Okay, and in just a minute, we're going to have these Canadian politicians reacting to Trump threatening to take Canada and make it the 51st state. Here's another thing I wanted to ask you. Do you want to take Canada? If we could make Canada a 51st state, would you? No, I would not want it. Apparently, I think I'm not going to remember. I know nothing about Canada. But I think I heard today earlier that Alberta, I think, might be the area. There's an area that is conservative and that has lots of oil. That would be the area I'd want. I think it's Alberta, but I don't even know. There's one of the states or areas of Canada that's conservative and has lots of oil. That one I would want. But honestly, think of it. It would be a 51st liberal Democrat state the size of Texas, if you will, as far as the amount of power it have. No way in heck. Those people are freaking whack, at least the ones that elected Justin Trudeau. Yes, producer Matt. It's Alberta. I was right. Yay! I got a few points. So, yeah, that's the only part I want. But, no, it's not going to happen. We're not doing that. He's just negotiating with them and really shaking some feathers and all that stuff. There's a guy who is being compared to Trump, but he refuses to accept that. Canada's just too close to the U.S. and too similar in many ways, in other ways not, but to the U.S. to want to have a Trump-like guy that even says anything like Trump. So he says, no, I'm not. He's conservative, and he will be a Canadian version of a Trump. And he basically is saying no way in heck as he gets prepared to quite possibly take over for Justin Trudeau. I got to tell you, I'm watching these wildfires all over Los Angeles, and this is insane. I mean, this is bad. I'm seeing 0% containment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We'll keep following that tonight, but this looks like a very, very serious thing unfolding in Los Angeles. The wind-driven Palisades fire, mass evacuations, hell on earth it looks like, to be honest with you. But how do you feel about Trump saying all hell will break loose if the October 7th Hamas hostages aren't released by the time he's in office? I love it. What do you think here? What are your thoughts on Trump threatening to take Greenland and the Panama Canal and maybe Canada? How do you feel about the Gulf of Mexico becoming the Gulf of America? I think that's great. What do you think Trump's doing, too? Is he serious or is he negotiating? I think he's unequivocally negotiating. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Two things. Panama, they technically did violate the treaty that we made with them. First, we did one that in let me see here, I want to make sure I get this right. This is from the New York Post, a columnist today. The first treaty obliged Panama to operate the canal neutrally, non-discriminatory pricing, allowing the U.S. to defend it also from threat that might interfere with its neutrality. The second treaty transferred full control to Panama effective December 31st, 1999, without superseding the first treaty's broad provision allowing U.S. defense for the crucial economic and military asset. Despite assurances to these agreements, the sad truth is the Panama Canal is already in the wrong hands, China's. I mean, China has literally so much from every angle. All they've been doing is trying to say, how can we destroy and overthrow the United States of America? And they're doing a great job of it. They have tremendous influence. What happened in 1996, Panama made a 25-year agreement with a Hong Kong-based shipping firm. Hong Kong was handed over from British independence, if you will, from a British colony to China. What does that mean? Communist China now controls parts of the Panama Canal. So they're outsourcing management to two entry ports. Two of the entry ports are controlled by China now. This is unacceptable. It is absolutely unacceptable. And that's what Trump's doing. He's making sure the Chinese cannot cut us off with the you-know-whats and own us. That is a very critical canal. Second of all, Greenland if we own Greenland, there is something that conservative columnist Mark Thiessen, who writes for the Washington Post, was on Fox News today. He was talking about this. He said that there is, because of, in his words, global warming, part of the Greenland area and the Arctic up there is opening up, and that will open up a massive new way of shipping, where we will save even more. I think he said like 2 weeks or something, or 20 some odd days, where we can go right up through the Arctic area there and reach other parts of the world for shipping going in and out for us. So number two, Russia and China have been, as you know, insanely aggressively taking and holding and threatening and saber rattling in not only in Greenland but in the Arctic. They are doing everything from any angle they can, whether it be China in the South China Sea, whether it be to the north of us around Alaska and Greenland, or to the south of us in Panama or South America, Central America. They are taking over so much and owning so much from so many different countries that we must have. Brazil, for example, all sorts of things. So Trump is absolutely on the beam. He's on the beam with Greenland because we have a base there. But listen, Dutch rule, it is, and I want to make sure I get this right, so I got to look back at this other article, this from the Daily Mail on Greenland. But a couple of things. The rule from the Dutch, they have independence. If they vote to have independence, they will, from Denmark, they will have independence. And so Denmark has been very clear that you guys vote for independence, you get it. And I watched a great video, you can see it on my Twitter feed, of Donald J. Trump Jr. And I also watched, I could probably scroll down here enough to find it and play it for you, the people of Greenland. And they were, obviously not all of them want to be bought and owned and be an American. But I thought about something. A lot of these people were very happy in the videos that you saw. Here's some video from Donald J. Trump Jr. coming into Greenland.
Guys, where are we heading?
They're on the plane.
To Greenland. Talk to the locals. Talk to people.
I'm going to go down a little bit and go, here we go. Some of the people.
I mean, this is sort of my world as an outdoorsman.
People wearing MAGA hats, waving.
Remote parts of the world. I love it.
It's beautiful. But I thought about something. This made me think about, for example, the Native American casinos that we have. To me, nothing is more American. When I went to, little did I know, a resort chain, or hotel chain that we're all familiar with, they have a resort in New Mexico. Where's the great place to go for New Mexico for tourism? It's north of Albuquerque, a couple hours, an hour or two. What's that place called? Santa Fe. I was in Santa Fe, and I didn't know this, but this chain never allows smoking and guns. I go there, and sure enough, I can carry inside. There's no gun signs, and there's no smoking signs, and I can smell smoke wafting. And I found out there's a casino there too. So you can drink, smoke, and carry your gun while you're gambling. I said to the lady at the front desk, I says, this must be a conservative tribe. She says, oh, yeah. I said, yes, this is the most free you can be in the United States of America. To me, I'm telling you, there is nothing more beautiful than Native Americans who have full control of their destiny, and they allow you to smoke, drink, and gamble at the same time if you so choose, and carry your gun, your gat. I think it's great because you know what? We don't need the government to regulate us on those things. You can decide to gamble. You can not gamble. That's your business. You can decide to drink. You can decide not drink. That's your business. You can decide to carry a weapon. You can decide not. But the government stepping in an art. And by the way, how many times do you hear about a mass shooting or some horrible thing going on at some resort in Santa Fe? Never heard about it. It was peaceful, it was fun, and we loved it. The smell of smoke isn't the best, obviously. I used to smoke like a fiend for like 15, 20 years back in the day. But I'll take that for freedom. And as far as Greenland, I'm thinking about the Native American tribes. Oh, I'm late. I got to stop. We're going to come back. I'm going to tell you about this because I think about the Native American tribes and how they have casinos and this kind of stuff. We could literally turn this on its head and buy Greenland, and the amount of money the people of that island can make would be insane. Stand by. I'll tell you about that and take your call on this. Also coming up next, you heard the Biden Surgeon General warn you that drinking alcohol can cause cancer? Total lie. Total lie. And every single thing that's Orwellian, Surgeon General for Biden has done is political, not for your health. Do not listen to anything that Surgeon General says. I'm not kidding you, as laid out by the Wall Street Journal today. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. I want to tell you in just a moment, Greenland, why I think this could actually work and how we could incentivize it. I'm thinking about the Native American tribes, the Native Americans in our country and casinos. I know that giving, the ability to have your own land, your own casinos doesn't make up for anything. I'm just saying there are tribes, if it's done right and managed well, there are tribes that have done exceedingly well, and the people have done exceedingly well. By the way, I'm watching the Los Angeles fires. This is insane. You've got hundreds of people like refugees just gathered up in an area surrounded by firefighters and cops and stuff. This is really going to be a huge story for tomorrow as everything unfolds overnight tonight. So do pray for the people of Los Angeles and that fire. That is insane. But as far as Greenland goes, our number, by the way, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. What are your thoughts on Trump threatening to take Greenland and the Panama Canal and maybe Canada? And how do you feel about the Gulf of Mexico becoming the Gulf of America? I love that. He thinks big. How many times has he said certain things, that he would do certain things, and they don't happen, but some action comes out of it? That's what he's doing here. I love the left getting so, and the fake news media getting so insane over this. It just makes it all worth it, doesn't it? It's just so much fun. Now, so here we go. What would we pay for Greenland if we actually bought it? Well, Denmark says that the people of Greenland can decide on their own, and if they decide vote for independence, they can do that. I think they're going to, especially with this pressure that Trump's putting on them. Number two, we have a base there, which is very important for Russia and China. But if we end up taking Greenland, not by hostile means or anything, but if we end up purchasing Greenland from the people of Greenland, here's what I think. Think about the amount of money. The amount of people on Greenland is extremely small. Would you double check, Producer Matt, the population of Greenland? I think it's only like tens of thousands of people. You know what I'm saying? Like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000. I don't think it's anything more than that. What is it? 56,000. Boom. I was spot on with my guesstimations on the back of my, rolling on the back of my head there, on the back of a napkin or whatever. 56,000. Okay, think of it this way. Let's look at the purchase prices of Alaska. We bought Alaska from Russia. Think of all that oil we got from them. Okay, so we bought Alaska from Russia in 1967 for $7.2 million. All right? Think of all the oil we got for only $7.2 million. Today's dollars, that would be $153.5 million. We'll just say $154 million. Is $154 million worth Alaska? Oh, you got to be kidding me. Of course it is. Greenland is, and I would never have thought this. This is insane. Greenland is 1.5 times the size of Alaska. I literally would have thought it was half the size. What do I know? Greenland is 1.5 times the size of Alaska. So by boosting the price by 50%, considering that Greenland is so much more massive, the total would come to approximately $230 million, $250 million. We'll just round it up to $250 million. Also, another metric the columnist of the Daily Mail says today is, in 1964, look at previous attempts. In 1964, the U.S. thought of buying the Arctic island, Greenland, with $100 million in gold. In 1946, okay, $100 million in gold, 1946. That would equate to $1.6 billion today. Now, I want you to think about this. What if, out of $1.5 billion, let's say, we'll just round it, $1.5 billion if we were willing to pay Greenland. What if, let's say, $1 billion goes to the government of the independent, Greenland, state of Greenland, whatever you want to call it. Let's say $1 billion goes to it for operations, for a bottom line to start with their own autonomy. And number two, let's say the other $500 million goes to the people of Greenland to be divided amongst themselves. You could make those 56,000 people multi-millionaires. I mean, you could, each Greenlander could get, I'm just making up a number here, 10, 20, $40 million. I know money's not a panacea. And I know the more money you get, the more problems you get, truthfully, is what I understand. I wouldn't know from personal experience. I guess I'd like to find out. But this could be something like, I think about the Native American tribes with casinos. There's some of them that are super wealthy. And this could be something that their government has a massive budget to begin with. This could be something also where the people get a massive payout. That would incentivize things tremendously, I would think. Of course, you can't buy people's vote, at least most people's votes, you would think. So there you go. And I'll throw out the questions of, not the questions, but the thought of, can you put a price tag on national security? The ability to thwart the Russians and the Chinese from the north. If we're getting invaded, if we're getting attacked, or something happens, you will not be able to put a price tag on the ability to defend ourselves from that part of the world and to have that part of the world. And I think that works. Profit sharing. Make every Greenlander wealthy. That might really be a big bonus. I want to shift, though. As promised, I promised tonight we're going to talk about this. The Surgeon General of the United States of America is a complete political hack. And this is how Biden's done everything. It's really embarrassing and really sad what he's done with his 4 years. And by the way, listen, now he is totally, with all my heart, I see this man is totally, he's a little child. He is so vindictive. He literally is. I mean, that's why he just did this thing with 635 square miles. You can't develop oil on the on our outer continental shelf, or whatever you call it, or in the Gulf of Mexico, all this stuff. He's literally trying to take everything Trump said he was going to do and destroy it. Like, I'm going to have oil. I'm going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to ban that. What can we do? Let's do that. His whole job since November, whatever, 6th or 7th, whatever the date was, since November when he lost, when his party lost, his whole job has been to, how do I stop Trump from doing anything he's promised the American people? And who put him in to do all this? Who voted for him because of what he said? We did. Democrats did. Moderates did. He got the highest vote he's ever gotten before. He got the, the popular vote, and he got the Electoral College and all 7 swing states. It's amazing. Okay? And what Joe Biden is doing, he's actually, and this is really true, and Trump should have said this today at his press conference, he should have said, what Joe Biden is doing, and he went after Joe Biden for doing this oil thing and other stuff, but he should say, Joe Biden is not attacking me. He is attacking you. Joe Biden, you elected me to do all these things I'm talking about right here. And Joe Biden has done everything since his party lost to stop everything that you voted for. This is about you, and this is about what you voted for. Everything you wanted and every reason why you voted for me, he's trying to stop. He's a child. He is a baby, and he is a massively sore loser, and he cannot stand that he lost. He must destroy anything I've promised you to do. So he's coming for you. He despises you. He despises what you want to happen in this country. And he seeks to ruin any chance of anything you wanted me to do for this country. And I will stand against him, and I'll do everything I can to fight back. But that's what's happened here. He's a child. Sorry. Now we're going to get into the Vivek Murthy. Murthy is his name, and he's a Surgeon General. And he lied. He released a study, and this is all over the news, and it was all a lie. I'm not kidding you. Where he said, moderate drinking can cause cancer. I want to put cancer labels, warning on every alcohol bottle. It's a lie. His report says, evidence shows this risk may start to increase around 1 or fewer drinks per day. Total fat lie. But not for moderate. Here, the Wall Street Journal says, note the operative word, may. The link between heavy drinking and throat cancer and mouth cancer is well established. Heavy drinking. But moderate drinking, no. The National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine released a congressionally mandated review. What do they find? Insufficient evidence to support a link between moderate drinking and oral I'm going to try to pronounce this, pharyngeal, esophageal, laryngeal, and other cancers. A No evidence to support a link between moderate drinking and cancers. It did find a slightly higher risk of breast cancer with moderate drinking, but also a lower risk of death generally from cardiovascular disease, specifically compared with never drinking. So you hear that? A lower risk of death from cardiovascular disease compared with never drinking. So you have a lower risk of cardiovascular disease if you drink moderately or less. What the heck, right? No matter, it says, the journal says, Murthy claims that alcohol use, not abuse, is a leading preventable cause of cancer in the U.S. Lie. Absolute lie. The people that are supposed to be teaching us, warning us, helping us, looking out for us, are lying to us. And there's more. I'll give you a few more examples of just unbelievable lies from Joe Biden and his administration and the Surgeon General. That coming up next. And then we're going to get into, oh my gosh, why is P. Diddy, I hate that name, why is Puff Daddy jealous? Who is he jealous over as he sits raging in a jail in Manhattan? Not kidding. We'll tell you about that coming up next too. Chris Kroc Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. 800-288 WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. A little bit more to this whole lie from Joe Biden's non-scientific Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy. He lied and said that moderate drinking causes cancer, wants cancer labels on alcohol bottles. There is no such link to moderate drinking. It is to heavy drinking. Total lie. And he never said, it's the journal in this editorial today, it does mention very wisely, the liberal Democrats will never say anything bad about weed, right? They don't say anything about weed causing cancer or that one joint is, I don't know what the exact amount is, but I've heard, like one joint is like a half pack of cigarettes or maybe a pack of cigarettes and stuff like that. So, nothing about weed, all about alcohol. So let me give you other examples of how Joe Biden's Surgeon General has nothing to do with science. It's all about liberal Democrat agenda. In 2022, a report on workplace mental health. How do you solve workplace mental health, according to Biden's Surgeon General? Unionize. The voices of many workers and unions were used for this great research. They went to unions. They claim that jobs are a key cause of mental illness and chronic stress, and more workers are worried about making ends meet. The solution? Unions. And more paid family leave, an equitable, stable, and predictable living wage before overtime and tips and commission. What a great report. All scientific. Support the unions, raise wages, and give more free stuff. He also advocated increasing the minimum wage as a way to reduce the suicide rate. If you're going to kill yourself, it's not because of money. And if it's because of money, it's because you have other things. The money is not what causes you. I know people are saying, no, that's not true. If you're just destitute, you might do that if you lose all your money. It's not the money, though. Because if you're mentally well, then you're not going to kill yourself because you lost all your money. You're going to find a way to get help and not kill yourself. So it's obviously this guy is a joke. This is who Biden has running as our Surgeon General. In 2023, he advised on our epidemic of loneliness and isolation. To improve connections, he says, ride the public transit. Ride the mugger mover. Yeah, that'll do great. I'll get burned alive, stabbed to death, or beaten and robbed. That'll help me with socialization. I'll leave my house all the time when that happens. This is Orwellian. These people are so stupid. What else? Firearm violence. Oh, he had a firearm violence. Because firearms commit violence. I have several in my house, and they haven't committed violence yet. I've caught them several times trying to sneak out and commit violence, but I stop them. I lock them down because they try to move around. I keep them in a little safe. They don't get out, but they try. Firearm violence. Firearms commit violence. Not people. Firearms do. I suppose it's firearms that are burning people alive on our subways and stabbing them 47 times or whatever these people are, in New York. It's firearms doing that. Firearm violence. No, it's thug violence. It's terrorist violence. this clown, this fake scientist, firearm violence, a public health crisis in America. He says, here's how we solve firearm violence. Oh, are you ready? Ban assault weapons. Oh, wow. That's the solution. What else? Hold on. You guys are so funny. What else? Restrictions on concealed and open carry permits. Stop me from carrying my concealed weapon. That'll stop firearm violence. The criminals will have guns and we won't. That stops firearm violence, you know? You can't make this up. This is fun, isn't it? Too bad it was real for 4 years and still is. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. How much of a science do you think how much science is involved in how Joe Biden, Surgeon General, ran his office? How much science do you think he actually employed in that? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. What else? So he said for you to stop firearm violence, a public health crisis in America, ban assault weapons, restrictions on concealed and open carry permits, increasing criminal liability for shooting a firearm after being attacked. Listen to this. Here's the best one. This is sickening. Increasing criminal liability for shooting a firearm if after you're attacked, if you could have instead safely retreated. That's Joe Biden, Surgeon General. You cannot defend yourself. You can't have a firearm. You certainly can't have an assault. There's no such thing as an assault weapon. An AR-15 or AK-47, you name it. And you need to retreat when you're being criminally attacked. You're being stabbed, attacked, beaten. You have to retreat. You're an animal. You're a small animal being beaten by some abuser, and you just run and you hide and you cower in a corner. And if you can't get away, you just keep trying. And you certainly don't have a gun. We're not allowing that. That's firearm violence. These freaking Democrats will leave you poor, destitute, suckling at their teat to live, crippling you financially and never allowing you to be able to defend yourself and letting these criminals and thugs roam wild and attack you at will. This is just filthy disgusting, isn't it? But the last little gift from Joe Biden's fake Surgeon General, the last autumn, the stress of raising kids. How do you recommend mitigating the stress of raising kids? Government child care subsidies. The government. Oh, again. It turns out the government is a panacea, isn't it? Not God, government. It's the government that has all the answers. Tax credits, universal preschool, and childhood education programs from leftists who tell your kid to be a girl and a girl to be a boy. Why not?